Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be making a, um, you know, presentation, I guess you could say, of who I believe would be the top five Donald Trump VP candidates, contenders to be his vice president, who I believe would help him out the most and give him the best chance at winning a general election. This is in a specific order, with, in my mind, the best nominee to the fifth best nominee. All of these people are, in my mind, would be relatively good people for him to pick as a vice presidential um, nominee. I also this list is also influenced in my mind by who I believe are top contenders for VP, as it says top five contenders. It was this was produced rather briefly on a Google Doc presentation, but I believe it gets the point across. As you can see, that's former Vice President Mike Pence. He won't be on this list, of course, given all of the events that have happened between him and Trump. But yeah, let's get right into the video. We're going to start off with the top contender in my mind, the best pick at this point in time for Donald Trump to be the vice president in his 2024 bid for re-election for return to the White House. We give Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin is the former gubernatorial candidate on the Republican side, of course, for New York. He narrowly lost that, considering the fact that New York is a Democrat state. He only lost to Kathy Hochul by about 5 points. Previously, when you look at New York governor elections, let alone Senate elections, the Republican lost. I believe Andrew Cuomo won in his election by 20 points. Schumer has won in all of his elections by over 30 points. So Zeldin narrowing that to a 5-point margin shows how good he has at consolidating support. Many people wanted him to be the chairman of the RNC, replacing Ronna McDaniel. She did survive that vote, but he was a contender for that, as well as Harmeet Dillon. Lee Zeldin, of course, very popular among the establishment Republicans as well, among the establishment GOP. He has a lot of credibility there. While he wouldn't be Nikki Haley, which I think Trump likes that fact, he would be a loyal Trump vice president while not outshining Trump, which helps balance out the ticket. He complements Trump well in my mind. He is Jewish. That could help consolidate some Jewish support among a lot of the Orthodox community, the conservative Jewish community across the country. He's from the Northeast. He could help Trump gain support in states that he does need to gain support in, like New Hampshire, with Trump not having to pick Nikki Haley as his vice president. If Nikki Haley is in the general election, I would see her performing well in New Hampshire. But, of course, Trump has said he's not going to pick her, and I don't think she would be the best pick for vice president, but Lee Zeldin helps complement him in that sense as well. I think he'd do a good job defending Trump at the debates, and he serves as, in my mind, the best pick for vice president. A possible successor, although there are other options out there, Lee Zeldin definitely has a lot of benefits, and in my mind, at this point, he's young, and he's a new, you would never have heard his name in 2016 and 2020 as a new face in their conservative party, and bringing him to the forefront would be, in my mind, a very good choice by President Trump if you wanted to pick him. And it looks good on a bumper ticket. You have Trump, Zeldin. That sounds good. That's a good ring to it. And yeah, Lee Zeldin at the number one pick for me. Going to number two, this is going to the opposite end in what you would expect. You'd expect people to kind of fit this framework, but for number two, we're going to go with Vivek Ramaswamy. A lot of people would say, that Vivek would not balance the ticket. Vivek would not help Trump consolidate any of that establishment base in the Republican Party. I think the appeal with Ramaswamy is that he branches out the party and he can get the youth vote energized for Trump, something that when you look at the Zoomer population, the Gen Z population, is, and I posted this on my community story, while they are still relatively liberal as a generation, because the younger generations are liberal, and as they get older, they get more conservative. That's historically how it's happened. Maybe it could change, but that's what it's looking like. As a generation, Gen Z is more conservative than the millennials, and in some instances, Gen X. On issues like gay marriage, I posted on my community story that while millennial support for gay marriage is close to 80%, Gen Z support is actually at 69%. It's dropped. It was at 80% in 2021, and over the last 2 years, it's dropped to 69%. Now, that's not good numbers for the Republicans, of course, who are opposed to gay marriage, but the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy appeals to those young voters, he could help bring some of those young Republicans out to vote, whereas Trump actually kind of more appeals to the boomers, to the Gen X people, as in silent generation even, where Ramaswamy is that younger, fresh face. in the Republican Party. He's brash like Trump. The benefits of him is I think he would do very well at a debate between him and Kamala Harris. He's very charismatic. He can appeal to Indian Americans, and he does bring that young energy to the Trump campaign, where Trump is now kind of seen as, I wouldn't say an establishmentarian figure in the GOP, but an established figure. Ramas Swami is a new face, and definitely a possible successor to Trump, considering the populist movement in the party that Trump has brought forth over the last 8 years. He's changed the Republican Party in ways that it will never go back to. You're never going to see, in my mind, the Republicans nominate a candidate like John McCain or Mitt Romney for a very, very long time. Going forward, I see people like Ramas Swami, other people, possibly Ron DeSantis. So that's even a bit of a stretch. But kind of those brash populist figures that kind of what you would expect to say uh, the unexpected, or like the non-politically correct thing. Swami kind of fits that build. While he may not balance the ticket out as well, somebody like Zeldin, he would help project a youthful image to the the Trump campaign, in contrast to Biden's campaign, which definitely um, projects establishmentarianism, which is what Trump kind of likes to go against. And being in politics for a long time, Biden's been in elected office since the 70s. So Ramaswamy fits that build, and I put him at the number 2 spot. Heading into the number 3 spot, we shift right all the way back to Ben Carson. I think that Ben Carson is also a very good candidate for vice president. The only benefit that Zeldin has over him, in my mind, is youth, and he may be a little bit more sternly spoken. I think Ben Carson may be slightly too soft spoken in some times. Ben Carson, of course, has been loyal to Trump, so I think that benefits him. He's supported Trump even after everything that happened in his administration, all the way up until the end, when of course, Trump is not going to pick Pence, who kind of went against him, or um, any of those people. Like Elaine Chao, obviously not Elaine Chao be picked, but kind of those people that at the end of the administration were against him. Ben Carson stayed with him loyally. That's why I think Ben Carson's in contention. And of course, he does complement the ticket very well. He balances it out. He's African American. That can, I guess, help appeal to some more black people in the country. Although I don't think if Trump picks a black VP nominee, or a white VP nominee, or a guy or a woman, that really has much of an effect on appeal to voters. I think it's about the values that they stand for to some extent. Perhaps Carson could boost the black vote a percent or two. But if Trump is going to get more in the black vote, that won't be because he picks a black person as his VP and nominee, in my mind. I think that's just because eventually things budge, eventually things change. Of course, I don't believe Trump's going to win in any aspect, a majority of the black vote, let alone 30, 20, who knows, not even that possibly. But he could gain a little bit, and I don't know if Ben Carson would help in that. But Ben Carson does complement the ticket. He's soft spoken. He looked good on a bumper sticker, of course, and he has that appeal as well. He's been loyal to Trump, so I do think Trump would consider him for vice president. I put him at the 3rd best pick, and I think that he would help unify the party as well, because he has wide-ranging support in the Republican Party, like somebody like Lee Zeldin, of course. Ramaswamy, not as much. Number 4, Byron Donalds. He's a more youthful face. He's calm. He's from Florida, so Trump would have to figure out how, you can't have the same VP in the same state as the presidential nominee, so I don't know how that would work out. But I believe Byron Donalds is from Florida, at least. But putting that aside, he's African American, although I said it doesn't help. Who knows? That's what that is. He's from Florida. That helps Trump in the swing states. He's relatively youthful and energetic. He's a fresh face. I don't want to overuse that term, but he does project a lot of youthfulness to the ticket. You could see him as a possible successor for Trump, and I do think he would do well in a debate against Kamala Harris, who, assuming Biden would run with her. And that's really what the vice presidency is for in many aspects, is just kind of defending the president. I think Byron Donalds would do a good job at that, and the VP debate is the most important aspect of the vice president's campaign in an election season. Other than that, it's essentially the presidential nominee that's doing most of the dirty work. So I do think he would fit Trump's campaign well, and I put him at the 4th best. I think if Trump picked him, he would be a good pick for Trump. And heading into the 5th best, you give it to Elise Stefanik. She's a woman that could help him gain back some of those suburban voters that the Republicans lost under Trump in 2016, that Romney and McCain, were able to perform very well in. She does have that appeal, that suburban soccer mom type of appeal. If she could gain some of those voters back, that of course Biden picked up and Hillary picked up in 2016, 2020. Other than that, there isn't as many benefits to her as there is to everyone else. I don't think she's as well spoken. I don't think that she's necessarily as charismatic as people believe she is. A lot of Republicans don't like her voting record. She has been, and I just mentioned this in the fact that this is why she's on this list, loyal to Trump. I think Trump wants now more than ever somebody that he would perceive to be loyal to him, where he saw Mike Pence kind of betray him after the certification of the Electoral College and Mike Pence not going along with Trump's idea that Pence could not certify the Electoral College. Um, she has been there. She's been loyal to him, and Trump respects that. I see her being on the list. I don't think he'll ultimately pick her. But at the end of the day, she wouldn't be the worst choice for the Republicans. She wouldn't be the worst choice for Trump. She could help unify the party. She has a lot of credibility in the establishmentarian wing of the party. She's the number 3 Republican in the House of Representatives. If you remember, she replaced Liz Cheney after Liz Cheney was ousted for ultimately speaking too much against Republicans and Donald Trump following January 6th. So yeah, Elise Stefanik comes in at number 5th. Anyway, that is a rough explanation of who I believe would be the best VP nominees or VP picks, contenders for Donald Trump in 2024 this year. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you think that if I left somebody out, or if I put somebody too high. I'm sure people think Vivek is too high on the list or something like that. I'm more than welcome to hear your opinion on the topic as well. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching.